getting super excited to jump into club building season as I'm potentially looking at revamping my entire bag for 2024. So I thought I'd get started today, a little bit out of order. Going to start with my new 24-degree driving iron that I got from New Level. First thing that I need to do is swap in the correct shaft. So my friends at UST, who've been a wonderful supporter of me and who are sponsoring this video, sent me this ProForce V2 85 gram hybrid shaft. So I'm gonna pull the head off of the old shaft that came with the club. I'm gonna put this new shaft in. Gonna throw on these awesome arrow corded grips from Sugarloaf Social Club, and of course, I'm gonna be throwing a BB&F Co ferrule on there to make it look pretty. So let's get started. First thing I got to do here is pop this ferrule off so that I can get access to the hosel, so that my extractor tool can pop the head off. So I'm just taking a torch to it, melting the plastic, and then I can pop it off with a razor knife here. It cools off relatively quickly. That's it. So now I can chuck this up into the club extractor, and this is really important for graphite shafts if you want to save the shaft, because if you apply the twisting technique popular or that I use for like iron or steel shafted clubs, you'll destroy the graphite shaft because the graphite shaft is just layers of graphite glued together. So when you twist, it unravels the layers and then the shaft is essentially useless. And I'm gonna grab some painter's tape to protect the shaft right where, because this thing kind of butts up against it. And then grab the heat again. There it goes. Throw the glove on, because this will be hot. And there we go. Head is safely extracted and the shaft is reusable because I removed it the correct way. So next we've got to clear out all the old epoxy and stuff in there. So I'll grab my drill, 0.355 taper tip bit. It's a specialized bit that should fit the contours, although I do believe this is a 370 parallel tip, but regardless, just kind of use this to break up. Then grab my little steel brush tool. And that should be pretty good. Next, we're gonna prep the tip of the shaft. And I could do this by machine, but it's a little easier just to do it by hand for one shaft. So I got it chucked up with my little shaft gripper there, and then I'm gonna take my dial calipers and use the point on the end here. Gosh, it's still pretty warm. Point on the end there, all the way in. It kind of shows where it's going to bottom out. Lock that into place. Then I'm going to grab the ferrule I want to use, which I think is going to be these guys right here. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to add roughly half the ferrule and just kind of keep my finger there, and then I'm going to mark a line there, and I know that I need to kind of abrade up to that point. 220 grit sandpaper, and just shoe shine back and forth to get the paint off. Okay. Next up on the list is to glue the head to the shaft. So I'm going to lay down some blue painter's tape there, and then I've got my trusty epoxy gun. Take off maybe a little more than I need, but I also forgot to mention, before I get the ferrule installed, I need to ream out the inside diameter. This diameter is made specifically for 0.355 taper tips. This is a 0.370 parallel tip, so this is too wide for this internal diameter. So I have this 0.370 reaming bit, and I just do it by hand. You just kind of twist it in, take it out, twist it in, take it out. Would not recommend doing this with a power tool or a drill. I've seen other people try it, but I've never been able to do it successfully. So now that should fit. So before I put shafting beads to help center the shaft into the hosel, I'm going to put just a little dab of epoxy on the inside here, on the tip there. And then using the club head itself, I'm going to seat it. Then I'm going to grab the shafting beads. Oh, there they are. Which is just glass, little tiny glass beads. That should be enough. Stir those in. And then just get it inside the shaft here. A little bit of squeeze out. Usually just throw a little bit of script solvent on there. Wipe off the excess. And then I'm going to take it inside to cure because it is too cold to cure properly out here. All right, it's the morning. We're back. I almost made a really dumb mistake, but I was able to catch it in time. Thankfully, most hybrid fairway wood shafts, there is tip trimming recommendations. So the manufacturer UST advises that for a 4 hybrid, which this is a 4, I'm calling it a 4 hybrid, you should trim the tip 1.5 inches up before you install the head so that you have the desired flex. So I didn't do that, obviously. So I took it all off. I popped it, I cut the ferrule off. Unfortunately, it was too tight to get it off with just pushing, so I had to melt it and pop it off. Trimmed the tip, re-abraded the tip, installed. So now we're all good. Now I need to cut this guy to length. So I play everything a 1/2 inch over standard. So I'm going to kind of lay this down at the appropriate lie angle and mark off to 39 inches. So I should say before I start, I should be wearing a respirator. The dust from this stuff is not very good for you. I'm cutting one shaft. Can't really find my mask, so I'm just gonna go for it, and then when I do my iron shafts, I'll make sure that I wear my mask when I'm cutting more shafts at a time. Let's get the grip on there now. Make sure that it is square. Club face is perpendicular to the ground. Grab my grip. Pour it out because I didn't put tape on like a moron. Camera's got me all nervous. Throw some grip tape on. So I do 2 full wraps, and then I do a 1/2 wrap on the bottom half to take some of the taper out because I like the feel of that, and I determined that through experimentation. Everyone experiments a little bit when they're in college. Choose a grip solvent. These little arrows all kind of line up nicely so there's no twist. Pretty good to me. Yeah, I'll take that. So now, let's turn the ferrule down and be done. I'm still trying to get the hang of turning this stuff down with power tools, but might as well practice. So I've got great, but hopefully you should be able to clean it up with the acetone. Just realized I don't have very much acetone left. So I'm just wiping down with a fair amount of pressure. This melts the plastic. This is kind of the final step to get it flush to the hosel and hopefully even out some of the grooves that I put in there. Works pretty well, actually. A little bit of grip solvent on this paper towel, and then I'm going to just spin it in the grip solvent to kind of shine it up. That's really nice. Whoops. Beauty.